Okay, I'm continuing now with the part that kind of cut me off because I was running out of space or whatever. So I just needed to go into my second part of as I was saying. So as I was saying, being in prison, it allowed me to to really get to know myself and to realize what it is that I wanted. And as I said, I wasn't proud of who I was. That right there, that was never, anything. I wasn't proud. I didn't go to bed and was like sleep peaceful because it was still so much inside of myself that I was fighting with. Okay, so I wasn't feeling peaceful within myself. So seeing these people and seeing their conditions and seeing, how they adapted to everything in there. People were adapting to it. I adapted to it for so long, because for years I was in there and I, I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. I didn't know. I had no goals. I had no dreams. This is so crazy now, looking at who I am now and what I'm fighting for and what I believe in and all of that. I couldn't stand 10 toes down on nothing. I I could have been persuaded, you know what I'm saying, to go either way. I really could have been. But for me, so spending that time alone and meeting people who seemed so much in me. It was so crazy how I met all these people and everyone just seemed so much in me and I didn't see anything in myself. So that's why I wasn't achieving anything because I didn't see nothing in there. But everyone else seen this. They was like, "Oh my God, you are great with people. You are this." Everyone was telling me everything that I know now. You know what I'm saying about me, how amazing I am. But I'm saying, but everyone was telling me that. Everyone was like, everyone that I met was like, "You don't belong here. You really don't belong here." And I was like, "But I'm here." Okay, but they were like, "You don't belong here. You belong out there doing something so great. We can see you out there doing something so amazing." I'm thinking, man, trying to flirt with me or something, making me think this. But I'm saying, and then I started writing. And then I was writing and everything, and I would let people read, what I was writing and everything. And they was like, "Oh my God, you gonna be a writer," it's and all this whole different stuff, and everything. And as I was writing and I was putting on paper the things that I could relate to and the things that was in my life, once I reread them, I was like, "Oh my God, this is good, but this isn't who I want to be. This isn't who I want to be." And so it was a hard battle with trying to figure out who I wanted to be. That right there was the biggest battle of all. It's like I didn't know who I wanted to be. I didn't know where I wanted to be. I just knew that once I got once I got out of prison, I I knew that being here in Michigan wasn't what I needed because it was too, like they say with the rehab thing, with the NA and AA, not what they say, people, places, and things. Okay, people, places, and things were too familiar for me to stay here and not fall back into that. I could get into an argument. I could be lonely one night. You know what I'm saying? All of this kind of stuff. And it would drag me right back to that lifestyle that I knew wasn't for me. I knew that lifestyle wasn't for me. I knew I was meant to be somebody's wife. I was meant to be, somebody's mother, my dogs, everything. I was meant to live a productive life. I knew I was, but I knew, once I knew that, I fought hard for that. You know what I'm saying? I did. I fought hard for that. So I knew that I couldn't stay here because there was too many people waiting for my downfall. There was too many people taking bets when I was going down, when my downfall was about to hit. It was too many people, out there rooting against me and not for me. And the sad thing, and it was in my family. You know what I'm saying? That seen nothing good in me because I left and went to that world, and that world had sucked me all the way in their minds. That's what they thought. That world had sucked me all the way in to the point that it was no returning and everything. And it was sad because that's all they see. That's all they seen. That is all they seen for years. Even when I was fighting so hard to be this person that I am now, when I was fighting so hard, they still never saw that. That's why I didn't, that's why I didn't feel comfortable in Michigan. That's why I didn't feel comfortable around, my siblings. Truthfully, I didn't feel comfortable around my siblings because they only seen, that person. They didn't see this new person. They didn't see it because guess what? They didn't see it grow, so they didn't see it. So when they see me, the only thing popped to their mind is what they were used to seeing. Parents as well for a long time. You know what I'm saying? Seriously. And that's who they saw. So I had to separate myself from them because they were unconsciously or consciously, I don't know, they were unconsciously or whatever, pulling me back into that because this is what they expected. So, it was like, it was, they thought I was mean. They thought I was, I had the most horriblest attitude because that's who I was when I was around y'all, because that's who I was fighting for my life. I was fighting for my life, and they didn't understand that I was fighting for my life. I was actually literally fighting for my life, and they didn't look at it like that because they grew up in something totally different. They were sheltered from the streets. They were sheltered from prison. They were sheltered from all of this. I was not, okay? This was my life. I had to fight for a productive life. And they didn't believe that I could. They didn't, honestly. And this is the strange thing for me. They didn't believe that I could. They didn't. They counted me out before I could get in. They really did. And it's not their fault because that's who it's not their fault. You know what I'm saying? Seriously. I don't look and I'm not mad or disappointed at anyone for, not trusting that I was going to end up in a successful marriage. I was going to end up successful occupation, all of this. They didn't believe that when I got out to Vegas. Oh my God. When I got out to Vegas, I was running into people who seen so much in me, like in prison. You know what I'm saying? That's how I really, really think about this. Think about this. Oh my God, it just popped to my mind. Think about this. The people in prison who seen so much for me before I seen it for myself, put it in my head that it was possible, that I didn't have to go to prison again, that I didn't have to use drugs again. They put it in my head that it was possible. Then when I went to Vegas, they seen so much. Oh my God, you would be great as a brand ambassador. You would be great up in, in this and that. And they seen this before I could see it. But they put it in my head. And I achieved it. If I would have stayed in Michigan, this is the serious thing. If I would have stayed in Michigan, because all they were putting in my head is you that same person. You that same person who ran away at 13. You that same person who was on the streets prostituting yourself. You that same person that was in prison. That's all that my people who was around me seen. So that's all that they fed me. That's all that they fed me. So I had to get away from them because if I hadn't been away from them, I would be dead or I'd be in prison. You know what I'm saying? It would have been because that's all they seen. That's all they were telling me that I was. You know what I'm saying? Seriously. And so, as I said, when I went to Vegas and I seen so much more and so many doors opened up for me. So many doors opened up for me. And then when people got to know me and it was like, oh my God, you was in prison, you was on the streets. I can't see you out there. You know what I'm saying? You have morals, you have values. I didn't. Okay, I have it now, you know what I'm saying? Because just like I stood 10 toes down for everything that I did back then, I'm standing 10 toes down for everything that I believe in now. And that's what the amazing thing for me was, is that they allowed me to allow myself to see more in me. Whew. So I accomplished so much more than the average person who's been on the streets, who's been on drugs, who's been in prison, who's been homeless. I achieved so much more than I expected of myself earlier. Now I expect everything from myself. But I'm saying, but back then, looking back, so when my husband said, hey, let's move back to Michigan so we can, help out with your parents and all of this, all kind of stuff. I was fighting it. I was like, I don't want to be bothered. I don't want to be bothered in Michigan. And I said this to a couple of people. I said, Michigan ain't never been anything but bad for me. And I realized that I was bad in Michigan. So I made this full circle now. So I have a full circle. Okay, I've come full circle. I'm back in Michigan. I'm back in Michigan with a great resume. I'm back in Michigan with a husband, with a dog. I'm back in Michigan, a productive citizen, someone who doesn't need, everyone else's approval to live my life. Okay. And when I left Michigan, before I left Michigan, I was so busy trying to get approval from everyone but but myself. You know what I'm saying? Seriously. And I was so busy trying to be just trying to be, accepted within everybody life. You know what I'm saying? And pushing myself and, and accepting their negativity and all this stuff. And so now I come back to Michigan. Guess what? I don't need anyone. I don't. I'm okay. I can stand on my own 2 feet. It took me all these years to realize that, guess what? Yes, I can be in Michigan. I can live this life. I don't care. Woodward is up the damn street. I ain't going to be out there. You think they ain't got drugs every damn where? Honey, please, they got drugs everywhere, but I'm not going to be doing them. You know what I'm saying? Seriously, they got the damn prison. You think I'm going back? You know what I'm saying? Seriously. I can't leave Foxy. I can't leave Contour, and I can't leave Shadow. And I really damn sure can't leave William. You know what I'm saying? Seriously. These are the people that means everything to me. You know, seriously, they mean everything to me. So I'm fighting for the people who mean everything to me, who only see me great. They only see me great. So guess what? That's all they expect of me is greatness. William has only seen me great. I tell him that's why his relationship with my parents are so wonderful, because guess what? He ain't have to grow up with them. But I'm saying, but seriously, he's only seen me great. He's never seen me bad. He never seen me on drugs. He never seen me on the streets. He never seen me in prison. He never seen any of that. All he seen when he met me, I was at the top of my game. I was confident. I was strong. I was independent. I was all of everything that I am now. That's all William seen. So guess what? That's all he expects of me. He doesn't throw little jabs in my ear like, So me coming full circles, guess what? I know how to separate myself from people who will throw jabs at me, or people who will only see what they seen almost 50 years ago. Almost 50 years ago. I don't need to be around them people who only see me almost 50 years ago. But they watching me on Facebook, and they see how I've grown, and how my life is so much more. And how far I have come. So, basically saying all of that, and I want you guys to understand, basically saying all of that. I'm here now. And I'm living like I lived in Vegas. I'm living like I lived in Utah. You know what I'm saying? I'm living like I lived in those states that embraced me. And I'm expecting Michigan to embrace this me, because I'm going to put myself in circles, in environments, and in company that will. And not the company that's going to try to keep reminding me of what I was, what I used to be. Y'all just don't know. I know. Okay, I don't need y'all to help me remember. I don't need it. And people be like, oh, don't forget where you came from. Oh, no. That's what's keeping me where I'm at now, is not forgetting where I came from. That's what's keeping me sane now, is not forgetting what I came from. And that's the thing about it, is that guess what? I know where I came from. But I don't need you to remind me of what I came from, because that's not who I am now. I am 59 years old, okay? I'm not that 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. I'm not that person anymore. Because if I was, I'd be out in the streets in the snow. I'm in my warm house with my loving family. That's where I'm at. So I'm happy about that. So I didn't introduce y'all to Contour. Y'all met Shadow and y'all met Foxy. So I do want you. She's sleeping. Let me introduce y'all. Contour, hi there, baby. Okay. So Contour she scratched her eye, so she is a little bit. So this here is Contour. Okay, so now y'all met all my babies. Okay, this is mommy's baby too. So now y'all met Contour. Now you met Contour. Here's Shadow, back here. Come on, get up here, girl. Get up. Come on. Here's Shadow. Look at her. Come here, girl. Where you at? There you go. Here's Shadow. Here's Contour, and there's Shadow Daddle, and everything. And I just want y'all to meet my babies. Say, okay, you can go lay back down. It's Contour. And Foxy Roxy. Hi there. And y'all know this little one here. They just relaxing. We all just chilling today, okay? So, so I did want to say thank you, and thank y'all for listening to me and everything. And whew, that's adding to my story of how I became who I am, and being able to get into a successful marriage, and to be able to live a successful life. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing I want you guys to know. It's we ain't rich. You know what I'm saying? Oh my God, we're not. You know what I'm saying? We ain't rich, you know what I'm saying? But we are filthy rich, you know, in here, in our in our life. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing about it for me. I have lived without. I have lived with, and now I'm happy with me. And I just wanted to tell y'all just how happy I was with me and everything. So you guys have a great day. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So as I said, the first video, it went off because my phone was kind of full. So I had to go in there and clean it all out and stuff. And so now I'm adding this video, okay? Because what I'm doing is I'm recording it before I actually upload it onto YouTube. So I'm not doing a live or anything like that. But you can leave comments. You can most definitely like and share the post. So it's going to be two videos. Today is going to be my first half. Then I'm going to say part two. This is going to be part two today. Okay? So you guys have a great one. I had the most amazing day ever. And again, oh, Shadow, what you doing over there? Oh, she's chewing on her ball. So, but yeah, you guys have a good one. I am so thankful for my life. I'm so thankful for my husband. I'm so thankful for my dogs. I'm so thankful for my parents. I'm so thankful for my pastor and his wife. She actually texted me yesterday. I gotta. She actually called me yesterday. I gotta call her back and everything. But I'm saying, but everything. You know what, people? I am so grateful. God has really been amazing in my life, and as I said, you guys have a great day. Thank you, thank you, thank you.